Sí se
Ebony.
puede.
Yeah, se puede. Gracias.
Love that.
Thank you so much for giving me a couple of minutes to talk about this beautiful film. What a beautiful and heartfelt performance. So let me start by asking, what aspects of the 6888 story resonated the most with you, and how that influenced your performance?
There are so many things, but one thing I will say is I'm so glad I'm sitting with you, because we also have Latinas in the film.
Yes.
They stood side by side with these African-American women, so the unity of that, I think, was so beautiful. I have a very multicultural family from Puerto Rico, from Thailand, from all these different countries, and so that was definitely an aspect for me too. So thank you for being here to represent them, of course. But absolutely the fact that these were women who were young, they were teens. Lena Derricotte King was 17 years old when she joined this. I can't imagine being 17 joining the army, you know? And so to have that be the level of bravery that she had going in that, and having Charity Adams be leading these women, she was 26, their captain. So that, it was just so unthinkable. It was unthinkable, and I said, you know, if I can dream the type of dreams I have today, if I can take a little bit more of what they had and be that brave, I think I'll be a better person for that. I think we all will.
Beautiful. So this film has so many memorable moments. Was there like a special moment during filming that left a lasting impression, maybe because of the emotional weight or the camaraderie among the cast?
Absolutely. You know, we of course didn't shoot everything chronologically, but there is a scene in the film. Let's see if I can say this without spoiling it for whoever hasn't seen it. But there is a scene that takes place in a cemetery, and that was not a set decorated cemetery. That was a World War I cemetery. Wow. So even when you were there, you felt the magnitude of the sacrifice that soldiers have made for our country and for our people, and that was something that definitely had an impact on the scene. Also, a lot of that scene was improv. It was, Tyler just called out certain directions, and so it became something much bigger than it was. And I think having all the ladies there in that scene, having shot everything we shot before, I felt so supported and so protected in a scary space, you know? I think feeling that much of anything can be very overwhelming. So I'm glad to have my ladies, my battalion with me.
Beautiful. So how do you think this film will sparkle or amplify the conversation about representation, you know, in Hollywood?
Ooh, in Hollywood. I mean, I think seeing women as soldiers is impactful. I know that we have women, of course, plenty of women today, but we wouldn't have them if it wasn't for the women who were serving at this time. And so to see Black women in these positions of power and strength and integrity, and taking command of a situation that nobody believed that they could accomplish because they were Black women, because they were Latinas, I think that is something that I hope can empower the younger people today. You know, the kids coming up, that even though we've come a long way in certain aspects, look at what these women did back then. Look at what we never got a chance to know. I'm looking at the poster right now, so I keep pointing this way, but even seeing that is so powerful. Seeing the American flag there, seeing the uniform there, seeing the pins, it's very powerful imagery. And so I hope that the impact it has on Hollywood is that, well, this is a true story, so it did happen. This is not fictional. Black women have really been that. Latinas have really been that this whole time, you know?
So do you think that working in this film has changed your perspective about the roles and the legacy of Black women in history?
I mean, I was raised by Black women, so I know that they are powerful and magical. So I've always known that. This is another story that I get to remind me and to remember that we always have been.
Again,
Yeah.
Thank you so much. My time is up.
Thank you so
Beautiful
much.
performance, beautiful film.
Thank you.
And I hope people start talking about it and keep talking about it for younger generations. So, Ms. Washington, thank you so much for giving me a couple of minutes to talk about this fascinating, incredible, beautiful film, powerful film. And congratulations on such a wonderful performance, commanding performance.
Oh, thank you.
So let me start by asking, this story is as much about camaraderie as well as personal sacrifices. So how did the whole cast work together to authentically portray the sense of unity and sisterhood on and off set?
It's so funny because one of the things I'm most proud of as a producer on this project is this incredible cast of young women. Getting to introduce them to the world is just something that makes my heart like swell with pride. And I felt like one of my roles as an executive producer was to connect us to each other, to really build that sense of community and sisterhood and love, because I think that's so much of what Charity Adams tried to do for the troupe as well. She really wanted the group to work well together as a team, to be a regimen where they trusted each other, they supported each other, they loved each other, and they were strong together. So I tried to bring some of those elements, kind of as a producer and an actor playing Charity, into the project.
Oh, you did so well, and I was a witness last night at the event and the premiere. So. Yeah. So without spoiling anything, tell me a little bit about one of the many memorable moments, but specifically the Over My Dead Body monologue. That was so heartfelt. It's like an Oscar moment. It was beautiful, like this leader, like trying to contain her tears, but at the same time showing courage and leadership. Tell me about the challenges of that scene in particular.
Oh, I mean, when I read about that moment in Charity Adams' memoir, when she said, in real life, she actually said to a general, "Over my dead body." And in real life, she was court-martialed, and she thought she was going to be kicked out of the army, discharged. But because she had learned the rules of the army inside and out, she actually won her case. But reading about that event, reading about that moment, it helped me to understand how terrifying it was to stand up to authority in that way, but how much she loved those women that in that moment, she broke her own rules about what was right and wrong. And she said what she said to defend them, to protect them, to uphold their dignity. So it was like trying to get in touch with that deep love that makes you do things you couldn't even imagine doing.
Wow, that's awesome. I didn't know that. So why do you think that stories like this have remained hidden for so long? And what do you think the industry or society has to do to bring those stories up?
Well, I think I'm so proud to be telling this story because these women are real heroes, like actual heroes. And, we often say that they're the only Black female battalion to go overseas in World War II, but often we say they're the only battalion of color because there were Latinas in the group, there were Afro-Latinas in the group, and they were a part of this struggle for freedom all over the globe by serving in the way that they did. It's tricky. I'm not sure. I know for a lot of the women in the 6888, they didn't talk about their service because when they came home, people didn't treat them with a lot of respect. In fact, there were even rumors that they were sent there just to be concubines for the male soldiers. And that obviously was so untrue that it devastated a lot of them, and they didn't talk about it, even with their families. We have children and grandchildren who are coming to us now saying, I didn't know that my grandmother served in this regiment. I didn't know that she was a hero. So I think part of why we're doing this is we want people to know this isn't just a story about this particular group of women of color. This is really a story for anybody who has ever felt underestimated, doubted, disrespected, pushed aside. This is a story to say to anybody who's ever been made to feel like they're not enough, like you are enough, you have what it takes to meet the mission of your life in this moment, and you can look at these women and know that you can do anything because they did the unimaginable.
Oh my God, it made me cry. That's a beautiful answer. Thank you so much for such a wonderful performance again and a beautiful film. So I hope that this sparked the conversation about representation, not only in Hollywood, but everywhere.